Welcome to ScratchStart. In this session, we are going to see how we can control animation using JavaScript. This is a basic animation. What animation we are going to do in this session is like a spinner, loading spinner. If you can see in any website, like in mobile apps or in web application, you can see loading like a symbol, a spinner. So that is what we are going to do in this session. So for that I have created the HTML section, and this task specifically involves CSS. So we will write the CSS too. I have already created the classes. So now initially we will write first the JavaScript, and I have created variables using the identifiers. So the operation happens only when we click the button. So I am clicking button and giving it an add event listener, and the event is click, and inside click I am giving an async function. So that's our async function. So initially, as I have said in previous sessions too, initially we have to remove the spinner class list hidden. So as we can see, I have written the headers spinner and spinning and hiding classes. So how the operation actually happens, remember, when you click the button, the spinner rotates, right? What happens here is the previously existing text content would should to disappear if there is any, and then the hidden should also remove. Only then the spinner will appear. So it should not be hidden. So select the spinner, and with the class list remove it. Remove the class list hidden. Remove the class list hidden. And next we have to make the results. That means the text should also make it blank. Text content as an empty string. That's all. Now we have to extract the API, a sample API. This is just a very simple sample API. Our main focus here is just the animation. Why I am using the API here is, you will see why I am using it, because I am going to introduce a new new JavaScript method. That is why. So next I am using try to import the API. I am creating a new variable called res. Inside that I am using by fetch keyword. I am getting the API from here. API, and then we have to extract the data from the API. For that, res.json. This what I am doing, the same mistake you can also do. So you have to be aware of that. I forgot to use await. And then we have to make display the result. That means the text content. So result dot text content equal to, this will be available in the API, data or a title. You don't get confused. These things will be available on the API, so you don't have to bother about it, as it is just as example problem, so you don't have to think much about it. So now catch means error. If any error happens, result change the text content to error loading the data. And next I'm going to introduce a new thing called finally. What this finally does is, you can see the initial thing is the API will disappear. Sorry, the API will extract the input, that means the result data, and then it will display to the browser. If not, it will give the result as error loading data. Before all that, you can see the class list, the spinner will be here. Before all that, we have to hide that spinner too, right? So for that, spinner dot class list add, give it a adding class of hidden, and that's all. Now the whole API is written, that is, the whole process is written. That means it will fetch the API, and from the API it will extract the data, and from that data the title will get displayed in the browser. Before all that, we have to click the button. Only when we click the button, it will go back to API and fetch the data. So when we click the button, it will load the spinner will rotate, and after extracting the API, it will display the result, and after that it will just remove the spinner. That's all. The spinner will get removed. That's all. Now go to the browser, fetch data, it is appearing. If you can see, the API, the text is appearing, the data, it is appearing, but what we here actually need is the spinner. For spinner, we have to write the API, write the styling classes. For the classes we have written in the CSS file. So this fetching, before, if you can see, when I click the fetch data, this appear. There is a small space between the display, clicking the button and the display of this data. So in between gap, we have to add this spinner. That is why we have wrote this DOM. So let's add the stylings now. Now you can see the spinner easily. Give it a margin of 20 pixel auto, and the width as some 40 pixel. Pixel. Give it a height of 40 pixel too. This is the radius of the loading circle. And then we have to give the circle a border. So I give the border top as 5 pixel solid, and in the color code as 007 VFF. Then I give the border radius as 50%. And then this is the important thing, we have to add the animation to create the spinning effect. Give the spin should last for 1 minute. It is a linear and infinite. And for the hidden, we have to now write for the hidden. So when you can see here, when the spinner is active, that means when the hidden class is removed, this thing happen, this CSS operation will happen, this is styling animation will happen. So when hidden class is introduced, it is simple, no such thing will appear, none. Now another important thing, we have to write the animation. For whenever you use animation, we should use the keyframe. animation, we are writing animation for the spin. So introduce the spin here. Say that at 0%, is transform it to transform rotate to 0 degrees. And then at 100% we have to see the same transform. It is rotating as a circle, right? So rotate it for 360 degrees. Rotate it for 360 degrees. So that's all. Now we will go to the browser, click reload, and I click fetch data. The loading spinner will appear. See, it is appearing, the loading spinner. Just a minuscule amount of loading second, and during that loading second it is fetching this whole operation, fetching the data and displaying and inheriting that data to the browser. Everything happen in just a fraction of seconds. That is the thing I love about JavaScript. It is really fascinating. I can see the results actually from in eyes, and it is really rewarding to work in that. That is it for today's session, and I really liked working in this thing. I also thinking of making a dedicated animation series too. How we can make the animation using JavaScript, using CSS and JavaScript only. I think it will be really good and rewarding for me and for you too. You can learn a lot of animation things and other things too, and I can learn also. And that is it for today's session. Please consider liking and subscribing and sharing, and I will meet you guys in the next session. Thank you. Have a nice day.